What is up, everyone? I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're doing great and keeping safe. Remember to always wash your hands and sanitize from time to time. Today is our first official lesson in our subject P and health. And our topic for today is all about workouts, or in other words, exercise. So we're going to talk about the different types of workouts, their benefits, and the possible risks and dangers on doing these different types of workouts. And I hope that you're just as excited as I am, and without further delay, let's jump right into it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about workout. So the definition for workout is that it is any kind of physical activity that is planned. So if you plan for something, it has to be included in your schedule. And you have to stick to that plan. For example, if I say that I'm going to work out tonight at 8 p.m., I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure that my schedule is free so that my plan won't be cancelled. And next, it is also structured, meaning it has different components or parts. So a normal workout routine has 3 components: the warm-up, the workload, and the cool-down. And also, you can design those 3 components on targeting specific parts of your body. For example, your abdominals, your legs, your arms, or your back muscles. And lastly, it is repetitive. And when we talk about workout, you're gonna hear the word reps, which is short for repetition, quite a lot. So when we say 5 reps, you're gonna do a certain type of exercise or body movement for 5 times or 5 complete cycle. And once again, workout is any kind of physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive for the purpose of conditioning the body or physical fitness. Sir, if my body is in good condition, do I still need to work out? So that is one common question that I always get. And to answer that question, let's move on to this next slide. If you work out, you will always have 2 purposes. The first one is gaining, and the second one is maintenance or maintaining. So the first one, gaining, this is the part when you have a certain goal or a certain body shape that you want to achieve. For example, I want to have a 6-pack abs. So I'm going to work out in order to gain that 6-pack abs. And once I reach that goal, it doesn't stop there. Once I reach it, I'm going to move on to the second purpose, which is the maintenance. And how do I maintain that goal? I maintain it the same way on how I gained it. And that is through working out. And that answers our question earlier. Sir, do we still need to work out even though my body is in good condition? And the answer to that is yes. And you will continue to work out for the purpose of maintaining that good body condition. And in addition, I believe that you've heard this statement before. Tumataba na ako kasi hindi na ako nag-workout. Well, that statement is not completely wrong. So allow me to explain. You don't get fat if you stop working out. You'll only lose the muscle mass or the gains that you get from those workouts. So how do you get fat? It has something to do with your diet. So fat is basically stored energy, and we get energy from the carbohydrates or carbs and sugar from the food that we eat. And you will only get fat by intaking or eating more carbohydrates or sugar than burning them. And how do we burn those energy? Through physical activities or workouts. So as I've said earlier, that statement is not completely wrong, but it is still wrong. And next, let's move on to the 2 types of workouts, which is the aerobic and anaerobic exercises. First, let's talk about aerobic exercise. Aerobic, from its root word aero, meaning air. So what do we do with air? We breathe air. And to summarize aerobic exercise, these are exercise that is heavily dependent on our breathing. So, in other words, ito yung mga workout na nakakahingal. So, the definition of aerobic exercise is that it is an exercise that strengthens and trains your cardiovascular system, which is composed of your heart, lungs, and blood vessels, to manage and deliver oxygen more quickly and efficiently throughout our body. And what are the characteristics of aerobic exercises? First, it includes large group of muscles or whole body movement. So, doing whole body movement or moving large group of muscles will force your heart and your lungs to pump more oxygenated blood in our body. And also, it should be maintained continuously for at least 10 minutes. Aerobic exercises is all about endurance. It's all about how long can your heart and your lungs keep on providing sufficient oxygen throughout your body while doing those whole body movements. And lastly, aerobic exercises are rhythmic in nature. It means the movements that you should do in aerobic exercises are the natural movements that we perform as human beings. And next, these are the different examples of aerobic exercises. First will be the most common one, which is jogging, walking, or running. Next, we have cycling. And next, we also have swimming. And lastly, this will be the most popular one in this day, because when you hear the word aerobics, the first thing that comes into your mind is dancing. Am I right? This should also be corrected. When we say aerobics, it's not all about dance. It is any type of exercises that trains and improves your cardiovascular system. And in addition, the other term for aerobics is cardio. When you're at the gym and you hear your gym instructor said that we're gonna do cardio for today, you should expect that the exercises that you're gonna do is mostly aerobic exercises. And next, let's move on to the benefits of aerobic exercises. First, it improves blood circulation and helps your body use oxygen better. Aside from our heart and lungs, aerobic exercises also improves our blood vessels. So if our heart and lungs continue to pump more blood in our body, it will make our blood vessels wider, making it easier for oxygenated blood to pass through. And also, it increases our endurance, meaning we won't get tired easily if we always do aerobic exercises. And it helps reduce the risk of developing heart disease, because our heart, despite of being an organ, it is also considered as a muscle. And just like any muscle, if you continue to work on it or make it function, it will develop. And a developed heart will have a lesser risk of having diseases. Next, it also helps reduce the risk of developing diabetes, because aerobic exercises are good way of burning calories, carbohydrates, and sugar. Also, it helps reduce body fat, and it is one of the most healthy way of losing weight. And it also helps reduce stress, tension, anxiety, and depression. So these are the different benefits of aerobic exercises, and as you can see, there are quite a lot. And now let's move on to where aerobic exercises are best applied on. First, number one, it is best applied on warm-up exercises. As I said earlier, there are three components of a workout routine: the warm-up, the workload, and the cool-down. In the warm-up session, this is the part where you condition your body for the actual workload. And how do we condition our body? Through warming up. We increase our body temperature so that our muscles will be more flexible, reducing the risk of having injuries. And doing aerobic exercises is a good way of warming up or conditioning our body, because doing all those huge body movement will eventually increase your body temperature. And next one will be for the athletes. If you're an athlete, you'll relate to this because athletes have a pre-competition season, and in this season all they do is conditioning the body, all they do is work out, and one of those is cardio conditioning. And in that time they'll be doing different kinds of aerobic exercises so that those athletes will improve their endurance for the competition. And next, aerobic exercises is also best applied as workout for people with breathing problems. So if you're one of those people that have breathing problems, it means you have a weak heart and lungs. And being exposed to different kinds of aerobic exercises will help you develop your heart and lungs and might help you get rid of that complications. But keep in mind that you should always consider your capabilities, especially when you have breathing problems, before participating in different types of aerobic activities or exercises. And next, once again, this is one of the most effective way of losing weight. Now let's move on to the risk of aerobic exercises. So, the risk and dangers of doing aerobic exercises are highly dependent on the level of intensity. So if you're doing high intensity aerobic exercises, for example, parkour or sprinting, you're a track and field sprinter, your chance of having injuries related to those intense activities are high. But since in our subject we're going to do moderate intensity, low intensity aerobic exercises, these are the possible dangers or risks that I think that you should be aware of. Number one is hyperventilation and overfatigue. So these two may only happen to you if you are not used on doing physical activities or aerobic exercises. So your body might get shocked on suddenly doing these activities and may cause you to hyperventilate or to be overfatigued. And that is all for aerobic exercise. So now let's move on to anaerobic exercises. The other term for anaerobic exercise is muscle and bone strengthening exercises. So from its name, these are exercises that focus on muscle and bone strengthening. Next, one of the difference between aerobic and anaerobic exercises is the type of the energy that they burn or consume. Aerobic exercises mostly burn carbohydrates, while anaerobic exercises relies heavily on glucose or sugar. And to explain that, it has something to do with the characteristic of anaerobic exercises. The two characteristics of anaerobic exercises is that it is intense and it is burst. So these are types of exercises that burns a lot of energy in short amount of time. And the fastest type of energy that your body can burn is none other than sugar. Next, let's move on to the different benefits of anaerobic exercises. Number one, it builds and maintains lean muscle mass. So if your goal is to have a ripped body or a toned and lean muscles, anaerobic exercises should be your focus. Next, it protects joints. Since it strengthens your muscle and your bones, it also protects your joints and ligaments from different kinds of injuries. Next, of course, it increases muscular strength. It also boosts your metabolism. It also increases your bone strength and density. Increases body performance. Lastly, having a good body shape and lean and toned muscle will also increase your self-esteem. So these are the different benefits of anaerobic exercises. Now let's talk about where anaerobic exercises are best applied on. Number one, this is especially for athletes in sports training. Aside from cardio conditioning, we also have muscle conditioning in sports. And last but not least, anaerobic exercises is best applied for bodybuilding athletes. Now let's move on to the two different types of anaerobic exercises. So for those types, we have calisthenics and weight training. First, let's talk about calisthenics. So calisthenics is exercises that don't rely on anything but a person's own body weight. So any exercises that you can do that doesn't require you to lift other apparels or equipment is categorized as calisthenic exercises. And example to that is push-up, pull-up, squats, and planks or sit-ups, and many more. Next, we have weight training. So from its name, weight training, these are anaerobic exercises or physical training that involves lifting weights. So when you hear the word, so if you're at the gym and someone say, tara weights tayo. So expect that you'll be doing weight training anaerobic exercises. So example to that is dumbbell pull-up, barbell bench press, and leg press. So those are the two types of anaerobic exercises. And from those two types, we're going to focus on calisthenics because it is more convenient and it will not require us to use any kind of gym apparel or equipments. Now let's move on to the different risks and dangers in doing anaerobic exercises. And since we're going to focus on calisthenic exercise, all of them have moderate intensity level. So once again, if you are not used in doing physical activities, these are the risks and dangers that may happen for suddenly doing such activities. So number one is muscle strain or sprain. So when we say strain, there's a muscle tear or your muscle is torn from overexposure on different types of exercises. On the other hand, when we say sprain, a ligament or tendon is torn for overextension. So that is the difference between strain and sprain. And number two is again over fatigue. Again, this may only happen to you if you are not used in doing physical activities. So if you have an active lifestyle, so there's no need to be afraid of this risk and dangers. And that is all for aerobic and anaerobic exercises. So I hope everything is clear about their differences, about their benefits, their dangers, and their target or focus or purpose. And to end this discussion, let me give you a few reminders about working out. First is always have a goal and objective, because having a goal and objective will help you stay focused and motivated in working out and staying physically fit. Next is always assess your performance. When I started working out, I always have a record. This helps because having a record allows me to monitor my improvement and identify my weaknesses and errors. And last but not least is that always remember, no pain, no gain. Achieving your dream body requires hard work, perseverance, and discipline. There's no easy way or shortcut in reaching that goal. It is a difficult process that will test your patience and your will. So in my opinion, working out is all about mindset and staying focused and never giving up on reaching that goal. And to end this discussion, let's move on to our segment called the Health Trends. Hello again guys, and welcome back to our segment called the Health Trends. And you know how this thing goes, we share different kinds of fun facts and trivias about our subject PE and health. And for today's fun fact and trivia is, did you know why movies and cinemas always serve popcorns as their snacks? Well, originally, movie theaters didn't allow food and beverages inside the cinemas until the early 1900s. And in that case, street vendors started to take advantage of the situation and started to sell popcorns alongside the cinemas. And the reason why popcorns became so popular is that aside from being delicious, they are also cheap. That is the reason why popcorns became the default snack inside the movie theaters. And in addition, popcorns are also one of the most healthiest snacks that you can eat. Popcorns are rich in vitamin B, iron, iodine, potassium, and they are very rich in fiber. Lately, I've been seeing some posts on social media saying that movie theaters should serve French fries instead of popcorns. And as a health educator, I respectfully disagree. It's not that I don't like French fries, I do love French fries. But if you compare French fries to popcorns, well, popcorns are cheaper and healthier. And that's it for today's health trends. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.